Welcome to the Tech Sharmit podcast, where technology is not just news, but the roadmap to the future. This is a space where we explore the latest tech trends, AI, startups, gadgets, and the ideas that redefine the way we think. Leading this conversation is Amit Sharma, globally recognized as Tech Sharmit. A technologist from Bharat, Amit brings an Indian perspective to the global technology landscape. With deep technical expertise and strong industry insight, and for his contributions and impact within the global tech community, he has been recognized with several prestigious honors, including Google Developer Expert, Microsoft MVP, IBM Champion, and Planet Mainframe Influencer. Through this podcast, he shares practical knowledge, real-world perspectives, and globally relevant thinking designed to help you stay ahead in an ever-evolving technology landscape. Before we begin, make sure to subscribe to the Tech Sharmit channel to stay updated with future episodes. And if you're looking to level up your skills, don't forget to explore the Tech Sharmit digital course book in the description box, where you'll find thousands of free programming courses curated to help you grow as a developer. So plug in your headphones and join us as we begin today's episode of the Tech Sharmit podcast.
Hello everyone, welcome back to the Tech Sharmit podcast. Today I'm joined by another very special guest, Marco Riva, who is joining us from Italy. Marco is a DB2 for iExpert, SQL expert, and an IBMI mentor, and also a RPG senior developer. He is also contributing to active. He also contributes actively to the IBMI community as a member and a speaker at Common Italy. So in today's episode, we will talk about DB2 capabilities, innovation within IBMI, technical debt, and how organization can build sustainable and scalable enterprise system. But before we get started, I would like to thank Marco for joining us today in this episode. And now I request you to please initiate the discussion by telling us a bit about yourself.
Hi to everyone. I'm honored by your invitation, Amit, and thank you for the opportunity to speak about IBMI and DB2 4i.
Yeah.
I'm Marco Riva. I live in Lentate sul Seveso near Milano, in Italy. I have been an IBMI programmer for about 30 years. And I have some hobbies. I love playing piano and trumpet. And for the in my job, I was introduced to AS400 in 1998. And as sometimes happens, it's a meeting born by chance or luck. And when luck knocks on the door, it's up to us to choose whether to open and welcome the challenge and the opportunity or leave the door closed. I chose to open the door.
Okay.
And after a month of course on RPG, I started working in Sirio, a software house located in Milano. And I have also combined my development work with my work as a trainer and application consultant, and I spent my energy to studying the DB2 and SQL. After more than 20 years, in 2022, I joined the software house Evolution, the Italian partner of Profound Logic, and now my work mainly involves a project relating to the development and integration of business management applications. I delivered various training courses on topics such as RPG, SQL, DB2 4i performance, RDI, XML, and web service. And in my career, I have the luck and the pleasure to meet teachers, colleagues, and clients. Each of them helped me to learn a piece of the puzzle the world of IBMI is formed of. I learned a lot from the tips and the answer they have been sharing with me, But even more, I learned from their question, from their assistant request, because each question was an inspiration to study new topics. And
Yes.
this is my little story.
All right. So yeah, I think from your introduction, it's quite clear to audience that you have extensively worked for the IBMI platform. And moving to the further discussion, before we move to the further discussion, I have one question that often come when we are talking about IBMI, because IBMI is often called as a niche platform. So but you have built entire identity around it. So when did you first realize that yes, this wasn't just a dead end path for the career, but actually a strategic advantage for you to build your career around IBMI ecosystem?
When I started working with the AS400 in
Yes.
1998, it wasn't easy. I was worried I'd chosen the wrong path
Okay.
because in an era when deep sea were evolving rapidly year after year with Windows 95, Windows 98, graphical user interface, internet, and more. I was sitting in front of a green screen text terminal, an heavy keyboard on the desk, no mouse, and a strange twin-ax cable for link the terminal with the server. And I was increasingly coming across article with a headline like AS400 is dead, the end
Yeah.
of AS400 is not easy. But I trust in IBM. I began to study this system. I didn't just want to use it. I wanted to understand it in depth. And once I realized how robust its architecture and database were, I had no more doubts. The business world generates and relies on all kinds of data, and the AS400 was, and now IBMI remains, the most secure repository in which to store it, the most powerful database engine for processing them, and the most open proprietary infrastructure to interact with the rest of the world. At that moment, I thought, okay, this is the right path. You are not at the dead end path. You are on a path that can take you a long way. And
Okay.
now I am here. But it is not enough simply to have the road ahead of you. You must commit to traveling it step by step alongside the people you meet along the way. You must build around that road to enrich it and invite others to follow it. Even today, I think IBMI remains a strategic choice,
Okay.
built on solid foundation born almost 40 years ago, but which have always evolved, ensuring a level of continuity unmatched in other environments. This legacy enables us to build a modern application today, ensuring a continuity into the future.
Into the future. Okay. Because you know what, Marco, the question is still same for IBMI, that it is dead technology or it is going to evolve. But as you mentioned, when you started it in your early days, at that time the question was there. But in 2026, we can see clearly that IBMI is contributing a lot to different domains. Still, people are utilizing it. Organization have trust on this platform. So I think this is enough to break all those myths that it is not a dead end technology, but it is a technology that is evolving by the time. And now we can also see the advancement that are especially in terms of AI as well as API related information. So that is a best thing to know about IBMI, that yes, it is not going to dead in the upcoming years. So that's a great thing. All right. So now, Marco, moving ahead, let's talk bit about the DB2 because you are also very popular in the industry for the DB2 expertise. So DB2 for I, we all know that DB2 for I has a features that modern database are still catching up to. So, from your experience, what are the most underused capability you wish that every my developer should know about for the DB2 technology? So, what are the few features that you would like to share with all the developers around there?
There are many features that make the DB2 unique and powerful.
Mhm.
The main feature, I think, that makes this database unique is often forgotten, that the database is very close integrated with the operating system.
Yeah.
So the first key point is that IBM has been an integrated environment from the beginning.
Mm.
You don't need to install DB2. You can't uninstall it.
Yes.
It is not necessary to administer DB2. The DB2 database administrator is unemployed in
Mm.
our environment, but the database engineer, on the other hand, is essential.
Yes.
The second point for the DB2 main feature is the engine, SQE, SQL Query Engine.
Yes.
Understanding how the engine optimize and execute queries is essential for making the most of resourcing and achieving optimal performance.
Mm.
The SQE engine activates various components to achieve optimal performance. Plain
Yeah.
cache to store access plan, maintained temporary indexes to improve access to tables, even when the developer has not implemented an optimal indexing strategy.
Yeah.
Adaptive query processing. For very complex query, the engine continues to optimize even while the query is being executed.
Mm.
LPG, look ahead predicate generation, is the power and the magic of DB2. The
DB2. Yeah.
DB2 engine can rewrite part of queries to improve the access plan. And last, I think in-memory DB enablement. Under certain conditions, DB2 engine can require that the object be loaded into memory via an asynchronous process. The third key point, I think, is the data-centric programming. The
Mhm.
DB2 is important, and it is important for the developers to uh, make important key on the database. Database is an active component of the application.
Yes.
We usually think of a database as a container for data, a
Correct.
box to be filled by running RPG or COBOL application.
Yes.
But the box doesn't do anything. Instead, the application architecture needs to be designed in such a way that the database plays an active role with
Mm. Right.
referential integrity, check constraint, auto-generated fields, user-defined functions, store procedure, triggers, commitment control. The database works with the programs together.
Okay. So I think people will resonate with the last statement that it is not just a container, but it's a set of tools that provided by the DB2. So you are not supposed to consider just it as a storing of data, but to manage it, to handle it properly.
Yes.
So thanks for highlighting these great features of DB2, IBM DB2. And now moving ahead, we will talk about your current role because your work involves in proposing complete solution, including hardware, networking, system software, applications all together. So my question is, how do you keep align all these things together? How do you keep a team aligned when the scope is that wide because you are working with hardware team, networking team, and system software team as well? So how you are managing all those stuff together?
But I think there are three key points that are important to work with a large team, often remotely.
Mm-hmm.
We work all day remotely with my colleagues.
Yes,
The first key is documentation.
very important.
Documentation is not a tedious extra task, often optional work to do at the end of the project. Documentation is the project itself. Before
Correct.
starting the project, you need to set out the goals and how to achieve them. As I work on the project, I need to keep a record of what I'm doing with my other colleagues. And at the end of the project, the results must be documented and the results must be matched the initial goal. So documentation is fundamental.
Very important.
Second, sharing information. We must use every tool to share information about business request, technical request, environment, issues, error, solution. Even when working remotely, there are numerous tools available for communication, for file sharing and task management, Teams, Google Workspace, Jira, SharePoint, GitHub is very important. Document the project and sharing the information with the team. In summary, this is the agile method. The project needs to be broken down into smaller parts, set the intermediate milestones, identify small tasks, coordinate developers. The agile method is the key for achieve a good project.
Yes. Okay, I think with this explanation, you have put the spotlight on a very important thing, that is documentation. Because I also agree on this point that yes, document is very important. Documentation is very important not only for the just to complete the task, but it is really very helpful for the developers to plan the things accordingly. Because once you have everything documented in one proper notes format, then you can evaluate that documentation. You can use that documentation to verify whether the planned things is implemented properly or not. So it really plays a very important role, especially when we are into the software development cycle. So that is very
Yes,
important. And yeah, everyone should pay attention to the documentation as well.
yes.
All right. So now, Marco, we will talk about the innovation in IBMI, because we all know that IBMI has a reputation of for stability, sometime at a cost of excitement as well. So, in your experience, what does innovation in IBMI actually look like in practice, and where do you see it happening today in the era of AI?
Innovation on IBMI is my daily work in my company, Evolution. And in my opinion, IBMI innovation is based on three pillars.
Mm-hmm.
The first is the front end, because users should experience an immediate benefit from using applications that are more intuitive, better integrated with non-IBMI system, more accessible across a range of devices, PC, tablet, smartphone. So the front end is the first impression for a new application, a modern application. But it is important study on application architecture. It is necessary to design agile applications
Mm-hmm.
built using small components that interact with one another. The microservice and the coexistence of RPG with other languages are the keys to success. We
Yes.
must take the best from each language and each technology. RPG isn't the answer to all our problems, but the way to innovate our applications isn't to give up on RPG. So it is necessary write program in RPG or other language. You can choose the better solution in each situation. Finally, DB architecture. Sometimes people overlook the importance of carefully designing the database, assuming doesn't play a key role in the innovation process.
Mm-hmm.
Innovating the database means making it an active component. Innovating the database means designing it in a modern way that allows the physical layer of the tables to be separated from the application that use it. It
Yeah.
is important to build a virtual layer with views, procedure, function, triggers. The application code, whichever language is being used, RPG or other, should interact only with the virtual layer and shouldn't interact with the physical table. So you separate DB from application.
Okay.
Eh, so we need to be aware that innovating IBM doesn't mean simply swapping one programming language for another.
Mm-hmm.
We need to modernize the architecture of the application we develop on IBM I. It's
Yes.
not a question about a language,
Correct.
only a language.
Okay. So we talked about the modernization phase. We talked about IBMI origin and how it is evolving or innovating time by time. Now my question is regarding the technical debt, because we all know that there's a term technical debt, and especially when we are talking about the future of IBMI system. So in your experience, what do you think about technical debt and the future of IBMI ecosystem?
Technical debt is a problem now, is caused by many factors and usually is a result of limited time, limited resources,
Yes.
education, money, limitation to do it right the first time or upgrade the system when needed. But we must think of the depth of application or system, but we think also of the technical depth of people.
Hmm.
The cost of technical debt are not just monetary, but also time, labor,
Resources.
and the possibility of business disruption. Because
Yes.
when the system is too old, the business is critical.
Agree.
It's time to focus on paying your technical debt to get your business on track for a successful future. The best thing I think you can do for technical debt is to make a plan for modernize and futurize your application and your developers, not only application, also the people.
Okay.
We need to build a team of developers. We think about a modern application architecture, not a team that develops only with a newer or more fashionable language than RPG.
Mhm.
An application is not designed for the future just because it is written in a language other than RPG or COBOL. Developer who wants to build an application based on the solid foundation of the IBMI architecture and DB2 must know how to exploit the best of the RPG language and the best of the resources offered by the open source world. RPG programs are usually named legacy, and the
Mhm.
program written with other languages are new or modern. But
Yeah.
I don't understand why the word legacy has a bad connotation in the IT. We have a valuable treasure developed over the last 40 years. It's
Yes.
a treasure very important. It's not a problem about the programming language. Legacy, or better, the old style, it's how the development team design the database and application architecture. It's how the development team orchestrate the application integration with external services or external databases. I think legacy is an adjective for people, not only for programs.
Correct.
Modernizing your mindset and strategy is the first step towards modernizing your application.
Agree. And I think we can say that it is not a legacy, it is a legendary platform. It is a legendary technology, not a legacy. So that is
Yes.
what how we will conclude it. All right. So we talked about the technical debt, right? So as an DB2 expert, what advice would you like to give to reduce that technical debt? Like if someone is into the DB2 expert role or working in this area, so how they can reduce the technical debt in their domain?
I think the first things is we need to innovate data access by using SQL
Okay. What amazing.
instead of the native method based on record level access.
Agree.
It's not a question of translating every single line of native IO code into an SQL statement. It is a question of think a different strategy for assessing the data,
Mm-hmm.
not record by record, but as a record set. This
Okay.
is the mainly suggestion. On the other way, I think it is very important training and self-training for learn new technique, new function, new feature of DB2. I
Yeah.
have I have a magic formula: perseverance, intuition, curiosity.
Okay.
With three characteristics, you can do better. Perseverance, because it's not always as easy as it might seem. To achieve good results, you need to not give up at the first sign of trouble. Short-term rewards aren't always proportional to the effort put in, but by taking a long-term view, you can achieve the most important goals.
Yes.
You need to perseverance, intuition, and creativity. The unexpected idea is the feeling that an idea you never tried before might just work, and
Hmm.
you work with determination to make it a good idea.
Yes.
And third, curiosity. You can only learn
By
if
curiosity.
you have the curiosity and the desire to step outside your comfort zone. It's the
Correct.
motivation to take the next step, is the daily practice of acquiring a new knowledge. I think is very important.
Yes, curiosity is something that allow you to learn, innovate, and to figure out the best possible things to do a certain task. So yes, it is very important. Okay. So Marco, now we will talk about some of the features that you think is very interesting, new about DB2 for IBM V7R6. So what came into your mind when we are talking about DB2 V7R6 features?
Mm. There are many new features. I think the most interesting in 7.6 are
Hmm.
the multi-factor authentication and the new
Amazing.
SQL service, security services to interact with multi-factor authentication.
Yes.
And then the audit journal services with SQL. With every release and the technology refresh, the SQL services for querying the audit journal receivers are enhanced. The
Hmm.
audit journal is very important for monitoring the security and integrity of your system.
Yeah.
And with SQL function is more easy, is easier. And for the program application services, the new program resolve the imports table function is very interesting. This function allows me to get a list of all the imports for a program or service program. In this way, I can easily see which service program contains each function used in my program. It's
Hmm.
very useful, but only in 7.6, not 7.5.
Correct.
And then I think server subsystem routing services is very useful feature that allows an administrator to send workloads to a specific subsystem based on IP address or the user profile or both characteristics.
Yes.
And lastly, I think final table support.
Yes. Yes.
Now, all SQL data manipulation statements, insert, update, and delete,
Delete. Yeah.
support data change table reference. This
Yes.
way, I can check the result of the data manipulation with the same statement of update, delete, insert. Is very interesting.
Yes.
But there no needs to wait for the update, the new release. Many of these features are also available in the latest technology refresh for release 7.5.
Yes. In fact, in one of the recent event at Common India, like I got an opportunity to talk about these feature, DB2 V7R6 feature, specifically the new table, update table, and old table keyword that came under the data change table reference, and where we talked about like what are the benefits of utilizing these features, because within the insert, update, delete, these kind of manipulation statement, we will get the exact data like what has been updated and what has been changed through these commands. So it is the some of the best feature that every developer should try at least, because it will help you a lot when you are doing queries related to CRUD operations. So that is very beneficial.
Yes.
All right. So, Marco, although we have plenty of things that we can discuss here, but we are short on time. So, I just want to take one more question regarding the technical area, and that is regarding your involvement with the IBMI community. So, how do you experience belonging to the IBMI community, and what is your contribution apart from your professional role?
I think being part of the IBM community is important for building both professional and social relationships.
Yes.
The goal is to share knowledge, to increase the knowledge. It's a virtuous cycle. There is a famous quote by Bernard Shaw, an Irish playwright. If you have an apple and I have an apple and we exchange these apples, then you and I will still each have one apple.
Yes.
But if you have an idea and I have an idea and we exchange these ideas, then each of us will have two ideas.
Very important.
This is simply how I see it, the idea of IBMI community. When I write or teach a class or record a tutorial, I think above all of the next generation of developers. I want to help them build up their technical knowledge. I was in the past a speaker at the IBMI Academy for Young Developers, and I think a mentor is not someone who walks ahead of you to show you how they did it. A mentor walks alongside you to show you what you can do
Yeah.
together.
Yes.
And I work with the FAC 400 Association in Italy, and I am member of Common Italy.
Okay.
Recently, I ran an evening course for members on the topic of commitment control in GB2 for I. Every year, Common Italy plans a spring and autumn meeting, and I had sometimes the opportunity to speak about RDI, embedded SQL, and geospatial functions in DB2 for I. I try to share what I have learned from numerous mentors and inspirational figures. And since 2015, I have been running my technical blog, mark1tools.it,
Okay.
where I publish articles and video tutorials to share with the Italian community.
All right. Okay, so fine. I think we have discussed so much things about DB2, and I'm sure audience have got the list of tasks to do and explore about the DB2 and IBMI. And now, moving ahead, we will talk about the support of network, because every behind every person there is a network of support who helped us in our journey. So, looking back on your career, who were the key people around you who have helped you throughout your journey so far?
I work a long time. When I first started working as a developer before the 2000 years, I have a wonderful memory of my first three colleagues, Sabrina, Manuela, and Matteo, the first. It was amazing working with them. They taught me a lot, technical knowledge and mainly soft skills.
Okay.
How customer relations, how working together, dealing with setbacks because it is important. They taught me that we can work together and have fun together during the work
Yes.
and build strong, genuine relationships. It is important
Yes.
for work better. It doesn't mean we always see eye to eye. There was moments of disagreement, but always believing when the other person is of great value.
Correct.
And uh, and now I would like to extend a special thanks to my friend and colleague Roberto De Pedrini, also an IBM champion, uh, who encouraged me to share my knowledge and experience with the Italian IBM community.
Okay. All right, Marco. So now, before we conclude the overall discussion, I would like to know a bit more about the country you belong from. So, as a proud citizen of Italy, what one thing you would like to share with the rest of the world that is close to your heart for your country? What one thing you would like to share?
Uh, Maybe the food, the Italian food, but that's probably not the main topic of this podcast. I think the best thing about Italian people is the ability to respond with resilience to unforeseen business challenges.
Okay.
Perhaps this makes up for a shortcoming. Sometimes we are not very good at planning every detail of a process. This is a problem of Italian work. Sometimes we love to improvise, but it is in a worse situation that we bring out the best in ourselves. I think is a interesting and important feature of Italian work style.
Okay, all right. So I think now people have two perspective in their mind about Italy. One is the good food of Italian, and also the mindset that you just shared about the Italy people. So yep, thank you so much, Marco, for joining us today in this episode and for sharing so much information regarding IBMI, DB2, and also about the Italy ecosystem. So it was really a pleasure talking to you here, and I hope you also enjoyed the discussion.
Thank you, Amit. I thank you for the this opportunity, and I say hello to everyone.
Thank you.